Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm a fucking field mouse.
And I'm SuperBrawl Shane.
Welcome to episode 112, SuperBrawl IV.
Woo!
There is no escape from the revenge and rage in the Thundercage?
Oh, I don't have my usual printed script as usual, so I wasn't even looking for that.
I forgot about that. The last show didn't have a tagline, so I was like, oh, wait, do I have it? So,
Oops.
put a question mark on the end of that. In the Thundercage?
It's all good.
Yeah.
This was the fourth annual Super Brawl produced by the WCW. It would take place on February 20th, 1994 from the Albany Civic Center in Albany, Georgia, with an attendance of 7,600 people.
7,600.
Still hitting those WCW numbers.
Yeah.
But not for long.
Yeah, they might hit a few more the next time we talk about them.
Yeah, perhaps. Oh, I'm scared for that day.
I have been for quite a while.
And will continue to be until it's over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not there yet.
I know.
But we are in Georgia.
We are.
So Shane, what deliciousness did you bring us this week?
Oh, Georgia. It's been a little bit since we've been down here.
It's been on my mind.
Well, Georgia is known for lots of stuff. Try to remember, we've done some fried green tomato stuff, some peach stuff, pimento cheese. But what they are also known for, aside from peaches, they are one of the top 3 blueberry producing states in the nation.
Blues.
So yeah, their blueberries are
Choice?
choice. Yes, they're in the top 3. They are the Taz of the fruit world.
Yes.
Oh, yes, yeah. Matt's third favorite
Did a
wrestler.
little throwback
Back.
there. But yeah, months ago during the start of the Great Georgia Food Search, Matt and I stumbled upon a picture of this little breakfast sandwich that had just kept calling out to me over the last couple months, and figured, why the hell not? Let's do it. So it is the Blazing Blueberry Breakfast Sandwich from Milady Bakery in Tifton, Georgia. I actually one night decided to do a midnight, 2 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning online purchase for some Wisham jellies. It's a Georgia-based company. This is what they actually use on the breakfast sandwich at Milady. So I decided, what the hell, we're going to give this a try. I got this one, I got a cranberry one.
Ooh, that sounds neat.
And then I got one that was an apple fig. So yeah, I'm excited to try those. One of them sounds good on toast. One of them sounds good just like pouring over some cream cheese and eating it with crackers.
Oh, nice.
But this sandwich at Milady, it is served on toasted sourdough. Comes with some apple smoked bacon, some breakfast sausage patties, a little pepper jack cheese, and then just a good, healthy, hearty schmear of this Wisham Blazing Blueberry Pepper Jelly. Yeah, it's kind of hits the spot. It would go good with an egg, but it's also just pretty damn tasty by itself.
Delicious even with that?
An egg would be like almost overkill.
Almost.
Yeah, I just ate half of one of those, and I'm just like, we're gonna have to talk.
And even though this jelly, it's you said it's a blueberry pepper jelly. Like, you get some of the heat, like, in the back of your throat, like, after, but it's not it says blazing, but I don't even feel like it's not hot.
I would have liked for it to be a little hotter, although I did have a little bit of just a jelly bite, and it was hotter that way, although, like, salt and fat in the bacon and sausage probably pull that down a little bit.
That's possible.
It says on here, Blueberries and peppers bursting with flavor makes this jelly a staple for the kitchen. Add a few scoops as a last-minute glaze for pork chops, steak, or pork tenderloin. I think that would be really good.
Be really good. Absolutely.
Try serving with just plain baked baked brie.
Oh, that's
with crackers and apple slices.
Yeah, Wisham gets my stamp of approval.
Hell yeah. It's the first product I've bought from Georgia that I mailed off for, so I'm not...
The first purchased the product you mailed off for the show, right?
Yes.
All right. So, bring it.
I was a little...
other places.
A little wine drunk and a little smoky, and I figured, what the hell, let's buy some sweet stuff online.
You probably take some of that with some barbecue sauce, put it in your slow cooker with your little smokies.
That would be pretty delicious.
Yeah. Because, they do the grape jelly barbecue little smokies. And get the blueberry blazers.
While they're finishing up their delicious sandwiches, something else that happened right around the same time as this show, Beck would hit the airwaves with his single Loser a week after this show.
Totally. It's like, he's got albums before that, but this is the first major label one.
Incorrect.
There's a major label one before
Loser is not on Odelay.
Was it just a straight single?
No, it was on his album on Mellow Gold.
Oh, yeah, it's Mellow Gold and then Odelay, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Because before that, it's like 1 Foot in the Grave and something soul manure.
Yeah.
I had a friend that was really into Beck, so
yes,
I know some of that stuff.
2.5 albums are very experimental rock.
Is that when he rolls into Where It's At?
That's Odelay.
That's Odelay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes more radio friendly.
Yes. Loser is really his only radio-friendly song in his first 3 albums.
Yeah, my favorite Beck album is the funk one, Midnight Vultures. I'm not the biggest Beck fan, but that's my favorite of the releases, just because I like funk music. That's all. It's my Beck take.
You're all about that funk.
Actually, one of my favorite concerts, I've seen Beck twice. I saw him once at a festival where he was the headliner, which was a super fun day. Because literally I found 4 or 5 other bands that I really enjoyed because of that. But I actually won tickets to go to this solo show down in Dallas, and it was literally him and his guitar player.
Oh, wow.
Playing guitar and playing songs.
Weird.
And it was right after, I think, Midnight Vultures.
Okay, so this is a while ago.
Yeah, so it's 99, 2000, 2001 era.
And your sister, I think her name's Deborah.
And people kept chanting for Loser, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not playing that shit tonight."
Yeah.
But he finally he actually played the first 3 notes, and people were like, "Ooh!"
Oh, yeah.
And then he went into a Britney Spears song.
Oh, wow.
Just to fuck with
everyone.
That's
pretty funny.
But the concert was it was great because it was this small theater, maybe 300 people.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So it was really cool.
I saw him one time with my friend who is a big Beck fan, and it was pretty cool. It was kind of a neat stage show because the whole band, you can see the whole band or whatever, but then instead of, they do the screens at bigger shows, and so you can see better if you got nosebleeds or whatever and get more intimate vibe since it's not a fucking punk show or a show with 300 people in it. And instead they had somebody or maybe a group of people doing a marionette of the whole band on a thing, and the camera was only on that the whole time. So they were acting out what the band was doing for the whole show, and that was the only thing they put on the screens, which I thought was a really fun idea. And I was I think that was my favorite part of the show. Like I said, I like Beck fine. I don't have any real strong opinions. I think Midnight Vultures is really interesting, and he's written plenty of good songs, but it never really wormed my way into his heart in any meaningful way. But that show is okay, that's a really clever and fun way to do a stage show that's not over complicated, and you get a little bit of theater. Yeah, but it's the whole show. It wasn't and it wasn't. Yeah, it was weird. It was cool.
Got any feelings about Beck, Shane?
I was never the biggest fan. I mean, when Odelay came out, I was working at Blockbuster, and Blockbuster music was big at the time. So we had
So you broke out the 2 turntables and a microphone?
Absolutely.
Remember the Blockbuster little review books?
Actually, I take that back. Wait, yeah. Totally was. I was at Blockbuster. I had to think of that timeline there. Loser, I was still in high school. We were rolling into the grunge era, or it was starting to reach its
peak.
Its pinnacle. I liked Beck. I dug Odelay a little more. I liked the album from a couple years ago that I can't think of right now. Is it Cycle?
Oh, yeah. I think the last one I really listened to, I can't remember the name of it, so it doesn't matter. But it was the one on the tour that I went to because my buddy was blasting it all the time and we were hanging out a lot. So I heard it. I knew it front and back.
I don't think it was necessarily Album of the Year Grammy worthy, but it was still a good album.
Sea Change is a fan favorite. I like Sea Change, all right. But I'm all about the Midnight Vultures.
I always look forward to his albums coming out, and usually there's a half dozen songs or so.
It's pretty good.
At least 3 to 4 songs on every album that I'm like, okay, I really dig this. And then there's some that I'm just like,
yeah,
all right, cool. But I always look forward to a Beck album coming out. But what I'm really looking forward to,
SuperBrawl 4?
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
We get highlight video with shots of all the title championship contenders before talking about the Thundercage.
It's double Thundercage.
Double Thunder. For a second, I thought it was like, remember that one thing where they had the cage on top of the cage on top of the cage? I was like, a double Thundercage? What? It's like, oh, you're getting 2 Thundercage matches.
I was flashing back to, was it Halloween Havoc with the electric chair?
Yeah, this is the same cage, the same style of cage, and probably the same actual cage.
We get video of Vader destroying a locker room, and then Flair's running steps in the arena and working out in a gym.
I love his like arena workout, and it's like it's not very impressive. Yeah,
not breathing, not even breathing. What are you talking about?
Yeah. He's got the classic early '90s like turquoise, purple, and white stuff.
As I wrote on here, sweating with the oldies.
Mm-hmm.
He's not.
Flair's
old.
It feels like Flair's looked 40 since the first Starrcade.
Yeah.
Like, in a weird way.
Tony Schiavone then welcomes us to the show and is joined by Bobby the Brain Heenan.
I'm so happy.
Welcome
I'm so happy.
back.
You're so happy, even though it means that Jesse's no longer?
I'm okay with it.
I love
my favorite the last few times.
I love Jesse and Tony, but we'll see that Tony and Bobby is about as good as a replacement as you're gonna get.
Yeah, you can't silence the weasel for too long.
No,
it's wrong. It's cruelty on the world.
Yeah, it's animal cruelty. Let the weasel speak.
It's cruelty on us.
Yeah,
we want him.
They preview the show, and Bobby predicts a new world champion.
Ooh, I feel some animosity between him and Mr. Flair.
Tony tells us that the boss will be the special guest referee in the world title match. And Heenan calls him Big Ol' Southern Sal.
Yep. Bobby already hitting right off the top. BOSS, Big Ol' Southern Sal. It's great.
Schiavone then tells us a match has been added to the show, telling us about how Johnny B. Bad and Michael P.S. Hayes had teamed up on a WCW Worldwide. And they show us highlights from that match. And we see Hayes sucker punch Bad instead of making a tag to set up their match.
It's not very nice.
Michael, what the hell?
We then go to our first match. Johnny B. Bad versus Michael P.S. Hayes with Jimmy Garvin.
Oh, yeah, we got Bad comes out. He's got the Bad Blaster doing his thing. And then P.S. Hayes comes out.
In a wheelchair with a secret service agent looking.
Pushed by Jimmy Garvin, who doesn't quite look like the Jimmy Garvin we remember.
No.
Well,
he's not my Garvin.
He's a pilot now.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Just so we have it on record.
Yes.
We haven't seen Michael Hayes since Halloween Havoc 92, which was episode 76, and Jimmy Garvin since Great American Bash 92, which was episode 71.
Yeah, it's been almost probably a full year for Garvin and close enough for, over a full year for both these guys.
Yep.
Crazy. Where they been? AWA?
Well, Garvin really went off to be a pilot. And
He retired.
And Hayes has just kind of been... I think he went off to Dallas and did some things there, but kind of just...
Yeah, floating
around a little bit. But since Hayes is in that wheelchair, all of a sudden Mean Gene and Nick Bockwinkel, who's the new commissioner of WCW, come out. We haven't seen Nick since Slamboree 93, which was episode 90. And Okerlund asks PS, hey, what's going on? And Hayes butters up Bockwinkel before telling him he fell down some stairs. But Garvin yells out that he slipped on a banana peel.
He must have been in a match with Bastion Booger on the undercard of a WWF house show or something.
And Mean Gene picks up that those stories don't really match up.
Oh, yeah.
Calls him out on it.
Quick one there, that Gene.
Mm-hmm.
And Hayes says he's injured and cannot wrestle. Mean Gene asks for a doctor's note. So Garvin searches his pockets for it and finally hands it to Bockwinkel. Michael's saying he wishes he could get in that ring to fight Johnny B. Bad. And then Jimmy chimes in that he wants to do the same. So Bockwinkel states that the legal team have been combing over all the contracts. And then there is one that still states that the Freebirds are a unit.
On the contract, boys.
Jimmy Garvin chimes in that he is retired. But Nick says that if Hayes can't compete, then Jimmy must step into the ring, or they will be fined and suspended indefinitely.
Where's Bad Street when you need him?
I know, we're getting a big angle to start the show. But at least, Hayes is great at being a gigantic ass. So it's not like somebody out there that can't draw the heat.
So Bockwinkel tells him, hey, you're in a suit, you don't have wrestling gear on. We'll let you go to the back. We'll let you borrow some gear, and we'll have the match later. And we go to Tony and Heenan, and they talk about what just happened. And the Brain seems flabbergasted at it. He's stumbling over his words.
Jaw agape.
But we then go to our second match. Harlem Heat of Kane and Kole versus Thunder and Lightning.
Really?
And as always, I will refer to Kane and Kole as Stevie Ray and Booker T from this point forward.
Yeah, and Thunder and Lightning, as Bobby Heenan would like us to refer to them as Batman and Robin.
Yes.
Lightning would come to be better known as NWO Sting. He's the fake Sting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully you got paid off that
Well,
one.
I'm equally as impressed with him as Lightning as I was with NWO Sting.
Fake Sting?
And what about Thunder? Does he just disappear, never come back anywhere?
No clue.
Yeah, he's exactly what, like Lightning you can see, Thunder you cannot.
Can't hear him. All you can do is hear him.
Yeah, all you can do is hear him.
So I'm just trying to figure out, are they
He becomes a crowd member.
American Gladiators route here just because it was popular at the time, or is this
Most
just
likely.
their really, really bad tag team name?
I mean, you can't imagine they're gonna win, right? That's what my thought was. Thunder and Lightning.
I don't know. We've seen
Firebreaker.
Kane and Kole
Remember.
lose
This is
to
like the
Booker T's lost to Shockmaster twice.
I was gonna say Tugboat because I couldn't think of Shockmaster.
Yeah, Thunder and Lightning is like Firebreaker, Chip, and fucking
Todd Champion.
Todd Champion is still a great name though. It's so dumb. I love
But
it.
Firebreaker Chip is the only one that you remember.
Yeah, I know because it's so bad.
So Lightning and Booker T started off with lots of back and forth until a hip toss, drop kick, and arm drag by Lightning to gain control.
And immediately I feel like Harlem Heat is already on a new level. They just feel better.
Just think, they could have had the perfect theme song like 30 years later. Imagine Dragons, like they wrote the song just for them. Can we get a redo?
No more Imagine Dragons, please.
Thunder comes in with an elbow drop, only for Booker to fight back to hit a scoop slam and make the tag. Stevie Ray's beating on Thunder when Thunder hits a leaping shoulder block, followed by Lightning coming in with a double axe handle. Stevie Ray is able to make a tag after a body slam, but Booker T runs into a shot to the gut, followed by a Thunder knee lift for a 2 count.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
Another body slam, but Thunder goes to run the ropes, only for Stevie Ray to hit a forearm to the back, allowing Booker to clothesline Thunder over the ropes to the floor. Stevie Ray runs Thunder into the guardrail before rolling him back in. And Harlem Heat then hits some double team moves to gain control. A clothesline from Stevie Ray. Booker T with the leaping forearm smash. Tony then sends us to picture-in-picture inside Ric Flair's dressing room, where the Nature Boy, Arn Anderson, and Ricky Steamboat sit to prepare for the title match later in the evening. Back to the match, and Thunder hits a sunset flip, but Booker is able to make a tag as he is falling. So Stevie Ray comes in with a double axe handle across the back for a 2 count. Body slam by Stevie. Booker T comes off the top rope, only to miss an elbow drop, allowing Thunder to make the
hot tag.
Lightning takes on both members of Harlem Heat with a body slam, drop kick, belly to belly on Booker.
The heavy miss of this drop kick.
And makes the cover, only for Stevie Ray to break it up. Thunder comes in to brawl with Stevie Ray, but the ref gets in between them to force Thunder back to his corner, while Lightning hits an O'Connor roll on Booker, which Stevie then just kicks Lightning in the head, allowing Booker T to make the cover for the pin and the win.
Glad to see Harlem Heat get over on one. I do like that they're looking better as a team. They have exuding confidence and very cunning, and
they just have stupid names still.
Yeah, they do have stupid names still. I mean, Kane and Kole better than Thunder and Lightning, so.
Yes.
Mean Gene's in the back outside Flair's dressing room, which I'm going to point out right now is also next to Vader's dressing room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But cops are standing guard to keep peace. And I'm just like, or you could just put their locker rooms on opposite sides of the building to help this.
It's easier for the camera guys. What I said.
But then we're headed to our third match. The Equalizer versus Jungle Jim Steele.
Wait, who versus who?
You heard me.
At least Jungle Jim's in hot off those ropes. He's happy to be here. As he should be.
And then there's the Equalizer. He was there.
Mm-hmm, a turd with arms and legs.
Multiple arm drags by Steele to get us going, but Equalizer comes back with forearms across the back and head slams into turnbuckles, only for Jungle Jim to return the favor with a couple of his own.
Jungle Jim.
And
Jungle Jim.
Literally, I was looking at his...
G-Y-M, Jungle Jim. I mean, it's spelled J-I-M, but Jungle Jim. Sorry.
I was looking at his outfit, and I was just like... Or his gear.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like... They have to say that he's Snooka's son, right? Like, that's what he looks like.
Yeah, that's...
Did they actually say it, though?
No.
I don't know.
I don't,
but I'm just like...
That's what they're doing. They're like, okay, it's kind of like...
I feel like that's what... I was like, that's what they're trying to go for here, right?
Yeah.
The gimmick's just way too close.
I mean, is this...
It's better than Charlie Norris.
I was going to say, is Charlie Norris still around?
No, I doubt it. I highly doubt it. He got 2 pay-per-views.
I hope
Good
not.
for him. Yeah. Hope he made it last. Hope he invested in Apple.
Jungle Jim.
Drop kick by Steele. Irish whip and goes for a monkey flip. But the Equalizer holds on to slam Jungle Jim to the mat, followed by stomps and a body slam.
I do love that Bobby says that he really likes the fur on Jungle Jim's shoes. He asks if they're Hair Jordans. Bobby fucking fires. Always on fire.
Equalizer with a leg drop before tossing Steele to the floor, following out to hit a clothesline and ram Jungle Jim back first into the ring apron. Back in the ring, Steele is taken down with a backbreaker and placed into a bear hug, but escapes with an ear clap. Equalizer staying on the attack, only for Jungle Jim to come off the ropes with a crucifix pin for a 2 count. Equalizer slams Steele's head into the turnbuckle, rakes his eyes across the ropes, but Jungle Jim fires up, only to run into a big boot for a 2 count. Again, the Equalizer tosses Steele to the floor and continuously kicks him as he's trying to get back into the ring. Jungle Jim finally makes it back in to hit a shoulder block, slams the Equalizer's head into a turnbuckle, hits an atomic drop and a drop kick before coming off the ropes with a clothesline and a steel trap, aka the Fez press.
Yeah.
For the pin and the win.
Steel Trap, not a terrible name if you're going to try to rename the Fez press. It's like, yeah, I see where you're going. There are some interesting things here that Bobby brings about. He brings up seeing Hogan at Disney while shooting Thunder in Paradise, and all I could say was, "No, not yet. Don't do it to me yet." He says that he tried to get some stuff out of Hogan, but he just blew his... Hogan was honking his own horn and turned down the question. Appreciate the shade on the red and yellow. Also, there's a fun thing they do here where Tony, like, whenever Bobby just says, like, in this match, he says, suggests that Jungle Jim uses his thumb and just drives it into the socket of the Equalizer, and we get the beautiful commentator camera where Tony just like looks back at the camera to the crowd and is like, what's the matter with this guy? And I think that they go to the well a lot, but it never stops being funny to me.
It was very entertaining.
Yes, I like that.
Mean Gene's in on the stage to hype up the hotline.
We can. They tell us the number. I was like, should we call it?
909, 9900.
Yeah, I know. It's not gonna matter if we call it.
Don't call it.
We won't.
It's not available anymore.
It's a sexy line.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. The way you were saying that, I was like, oh, maybe Matt called it and it was a sexy line. He explained it to his wife. I was trying to call Mean Gene.
I don't even know if 900 numbers actually go through anymore.
I don't know.
Don't know. Not going to try.
I'm on a company phone, so I don't want to try out.
Yeah.
I already have enough grief from when I used all the company data when I went to Cancun years ago.
Okerlund's then joined by Nick Bockwinkel and Ricky Steamboat. And the Dragon has challenged the winner of the title match. And WCW has granted that request.
I love that Ricky says he's gone through a lot of red tape. And I was like, your wife's name is Red Tape? Ricky just always here and gone and here and gone. You just know that he's getting an earful from his wife. But doesn't she want him to win the gold? Make the champions money? I don't know. But yeah, Ricky Steamboat and Red Tape and the little boat. We don't see him a lot.
Mean Gene then brings up the security in the back again, with Ricky agreeing that it is thick back there.
He's just talking about the stench of Vader.
And then we're off to our fourth match. Diamond Dallas Page with Diamond Doll?
He's one of his Diamond Dolls.
One of them.
Yeah, they don't even give him names.
Versus Terry Taylor. Now, the last time we saw DDP was at Clash 21, episode 78.
Been a while.
And everything that I've read is that the Diamond Doll is Kimberly.
This was
but
not her.
That girl does not look like Kimberly.
No, that wasn't her.
Maybe we'll see her. I'm sure we'll see her soon.
Yeah, she was not in town this night. They got they went to Dolls R Us for this Diamond Doll.
Tony tells us that Page had been pulling names out of a fishbowl to be his opponent lately. But they always seem to be retired or not in WCW.
I know Z-Man, and when they said Z-Man, I just pouted a little bit. I was like, but I miss the Z-Man.
But like you said, Z-Man and now Terry Taylor would challenge him. They're all standing in the ring, and DDP would place the doll in between him and Taylor before shoving her into Terry.
What a heel.
Allowing him to kick Taylor, but Terry catches it and spins him around to deliver several right hands.
DDP is thick. I forgot how big he was back then. Like, he just looked
sturdy. Yeah.
He was
like, not fat. He's just like, he
like,
looks like a fucking bouncer.
Yeah, he was like 275, 280 pounds, something like that is what they had said.
He's a tall man. I always forget how tall he is.
Yeah.
Or was. I mean, you shrink when you get older. I don't care what DDPY says it will do for you. It won't let you gain inches.
Not that way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe I should look into DDPY.
Hook kick and a pump handle driver for a 2 count by Taylor before going to work on Page's arm. Locks on a cross arm breaker, but DDP makes it to the ropes and slides out to the floor. Back in the ring, Terry stays on the arm until the two go through a seesaw roll-up sequence full of 2 counts.
Yeah, Bobby, of course, can't get enough. Can't keep his eyes off the Diamond Doll.
Of course not.
Bright like a diamond.
Who can't?
I mean, I don't know. She's no Fifi.
Who is, though?
I can never get enough Fifi.
Page comes back with a back elbow, slams Taylor's head into the turnbuckle, and hits a suplex, followed by a gutbuster, but takes too long to cover, so only a 2 count. DDP starts choking Terry, hits a back suplex for another 2 count, before applying a Cobra Clutch. Taylor escapes momentarily, only for Page to hit a clothesline for a near fall. DDP goes to a chin lock, which Terry back suplexes out of, hits a dropkick, but then telegraphs a back body drop to be face planted, allowing Page to go back to the chin lock. Terry escapes again to hit a crossbody for a 2 count, but DDP pops him right as he gets to his feet.
Oh, that big close right. It looked awesome.
He then spears Terry into the corner and tries for a second one, only for Terry to move and cradle Page up for the pin and the win.
Solid shit.
Look at that.
That DDP punch was so good, and he was pretty decent with the heel work.
He had old Terry Taylor in there looking like the Red Rooster with his little red thing cut off.
You're looking like Terry Taylor.
Oh, there's a difference between Terry Taylor. I miss Taylor-made Terry Taylor.
I miss the York Foundation. I love the York Foundation. Well, a lot of it had to do with Miss Alexandria York. But what a team of great talented wrestlers.
Oh, definitely.
That never really got
That's what
their
hurts
singles
is,
do.
Yeah, he actually got built up in that, and he left looking like a star, and he came back.
It's just regular Terry Taylor.
Terry Taylor.
Yeah.
Double T.
We go to the stage, and Mean Gene is there with German announcer Ollie Muffler.
Yeah, the fans don't really like the German guy. They don't really like Ollie.
It's probably because he speaks in German for a moment, saying he is proud to be in front of American wrestling fans. And they tell us that this pay-per-view is being shown in Germany.
Okay.
They then hype up a European tour before Ollie asks Mean Gene if Flair can win. But Okerlund just avoids the question.
Yeah, Ollie wants to know if he can beat Vader twice. Can anybody beat Vader twice?
I guess we'll find out soon enough. Mm-hmm. We get an ad for Spring Stampede.
And Bobby Heenan is still daydreaming about a doll made of diamonds.
We then go to our 5th match. Johnny B. Bad versus Jimmy Garvin with Michael PSAs. And there's a grandma in the crowd that's really happy to see Johnny.
And the man is cut. Mm-hmm. He's cut enthusiastic.
I wear that same lipstick.
Michael PSA still is rolled out in his wheelchair, and he's sitting in it on the ramp.
Yeah, just talking mad shit the whole time.
Yes.
It's pretty fun.
The two men end up trading headlocks and arm bars for a while, with stalling from Garvin in between. The action finally starts picking up with Jimmy hitting some knees to the gut in the corner, and goes for an Irish whip, which is reversed, followed by Johnny running into a big boot. Garvin slams Bad's head into multiple turnbuckles before applying a sleeper. And the Brain and Hayes have an entire conversation from across the ring from each other. Like, Hayes is on the ramp.
Yeah.
Brain's at the announce booth on the other side of the ring, and like just start talking to each other. It was like,
yeah,
it was a great moment.
Which leads to one of my favorite. Bobby has so many great moments here. It's Bobby Heenan, but he says you can lead a horse to water, but it doesn't make him a duck. Bobby Heenan's brain is there's a reason he's the brain. His brain is big and beautiful and gorgeous.
Johnny starts mounting a comeback, only to run into a knee to the gut, and Jimmy calls for the DDT, but Bad backdrops out of it. Delivers right hands before hitting a tilt-a-whirl head scissors. Garvin is then back body dropped, but ducks the kiss that don't miss.
Ooh.
So Johnny just delivers a big uppercut right hand. Bad heads up top, coming off with a flying sunset flip for the pin and the win. Post-match, Johnny looks to go after Hayes, but Jimmy comes flying in with a knee to the back and tosses him back into the ring. Hayes gives his cowboy boot to Garvin, who smashes it across Bad's back before he hits the 911, which is the Stone Cold Stunner.
That's right.
Yeah.
The very first showing of the Stunner on wrestling TV.
It's kind of fun. They start the show with an angle, give you a couple of matches, and they're like, okay, well, here's a payoff to the angle. Even though at the beginning I was like, okay, this is taking too long. Let's get to a match. But it's still fun just because Johnny Bad is flamboyant and plays to the crowd and is a big old baby face, and Michael P.S.A.'s yelling on the ramp is entertaining.
So I read that the reason that Hayes wasn't in this match is his contract actually ran out. But he was at least nice enough to show up to the pay-per-view to complete the angle, basically.
Smart.
Weird. And what's with Garvin? They're just like, oh.
They just brought him in for the...
Yeah.
He was cheap.
Well,
He was probably cheaper than Hayes.
Weird. Huh.
We go backstage. Mean Gene is in front of Vader's locker room now, and you can hear screaming and loud noises coming from the room. Okerlund walks in, but Vader just throws a chair at the door, yelling, "No interviews!"
With old Curly Harley at his side.
So we head off to our 6th match. The Enforcer, Arn Anderson, versus Lord Steven Regal with Sir William.
With an umbrella.
For the WCW World Television Championship. We haven't seen Arn since Fall Brawl 93, all the way back in episode 102.
Yeah. Is this his time off to heal from his...
From the Sid stabbing?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
From the last Euro trip?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm sure he probably was like, guys, do I have to go to Europe? It just brings up some bad memories. But this one is 30-minute.
Instead of the usual 15, exactly. And Regal actually has his left leg all wrapped up.
Yep, I love that Arn comes out to a big old pop, I guess, because we haven't seen him in a while. Also, he's Arn Anderson, and he deserves a big old pop. And I love his bomber jacket. It is very cool.
We get Michael Buffer being the ring announcer, as he does for all the title matches of the show. Anderson and Regal lock up, but they break. And Steven complains about ear scratching to kill some time.
Oh, what a butthole. Getting our USA chant, of course.
They go into a test of strength with Regal getting fancy with a kip up, but Anderson just kicks the bad leg and goes to work on the arm, only for Lord Steven to come back with some European uppercuts and a hammerlock. Double A counters with a hammerlock slam and begins to work the arm again, even wrapping it around the post several times, forcing Regal to roll out to regroup with Sir William.
Yeah, I know. No legwork quite yet. He kicked it out, but he hasn't been going for it. Went to that arm.
Back in the ring, Lord Steven grabs a cravat, which the Enforcer tries to escape with a body slam, only for Regal to keep hold. Arn finally does break loose with an elbow and a backdrop, and goes back to working the arm, before sending him to the corner hard with an Irish whip, and again rolls out to regroup. 15 minutes remain, as Anderson drags Regal back to the apron, wraps the arm around some ropes, only to get a thumb to the eye for Lord Steven to regain control. Regal with some European uppercuts to send Double A out to the apron, where Sir William joins the fray with a jab to the throat with his umbrella.
Goddamn umbrella.
Yeah, and this is where he asks Tony, it's like, well, how did you hear what William and Regal were saying all the way over there? And this is where he fumbles over his words and says, Tony, I got here in like a fucking field mouse. Because he fumbles with words and adds an F word. And you don't hear a lot of hard F word. You don't F words on the commentary table, but him getting frustrated with himself fumbling, so funny. I lost my shit.
Like, hell, you just had a conversation with Michael P.S. Hayes from
yeah, I know.
Across the ring.
Yeah, no shit.
Regal with some Lord Steven applies a half crab with 10 minutes remaining and starts using the ropes for leverage until he is caught by the ref. Regal then drags the Enforcer to the middle of the ring and locks on an STF and a crossface, with Sir William grabbing his boot for leverage. Lord Steven looks to hit a butterfly suplex, but Arn trips him up and starts going after the wrapped leg. Finally.
Well, I mean, he's the babyface. You got to give him an excuse. Regal's got to push his daddy vibe buttons.
And he did.
Yeah, Arn's kind of like Tomohiro Ishii, where every hair that he loses, he becomes a little more daddy, and every gray whisker that Ishii grows, a little more of a hunky boy.
Arn tries to apply a figure four, only for Regal to kick him off. Lord Steven tosses Anderson out to the floor, where Sir William gives another umbrella shot, this time to the back of the head. Once Double A is back up, he trips up Regal and slams his hurt thigh into the ring apron, before getting back in the ring to work it over more with a reverse spinning toe hold.
Yeah, here we go.
Lord Steven is able to slip away and trips up the Enforcer, going back to a crossface as 5 minutes remain. After a hard Irish whip, the two men are starting to trade blows, until a knuckle lock gets pin attempts for both men as 2 minutes remain.
It's weird. We're having a real ass wrestling match. I just love it when you watch a wrestling show and wrestling breaks out. It makes me remember why I like to watch wrestling.
Yep. They don't get interrupted with stupid shit.
It's a heel and a baby, and the baby's got an excuse for the stuff that he does. He took time before he went for the leg. Love it. Keep it clear.
Regal tries to pounce down on Arn, only to be caught with a body scissors. But Lord Steven tries to turn it over into a Boston Crab, which Anderson just powers out of and locks on a sleeper. Lord Steven tries to escape, so Double A pushes him into the corner and cradles him up for the pin, and Regal kicks out. 1 minute remains as the Enforcer counters an ab stretch into another roll-up for a 2 count. Lord Steven goes for the butterfly suplex, which Arn counters into a spine buster! Sir William grabs Lord Steven's arm to drag him to the ropes as 30 seconds remain.
Oh my gosh.
So Double A diverts his attention to scare Sir William away. The Enforcer jumps back in the ring with a sunset flip, but Regal won't go down. When Sir William all of a sudden holds out his umbrella for Lord Steven to hold onto, allowing him to drop down on Arn's shoulders for the pin and the win.
I love just as as time runs down, he just sits on his chest, grabs the umbrella, steadies himself, and just drops his ass. Good shit. Super smart. A bit
way to make us think it was going to be the time limit draw.
Mm-hmm.
And pull out the win in the last second.
It's wrestling. Tell me stories, and also sometimes you gotta throw Arn Anderson into some glitter. You got confettied by the Bad Blaster when you got not thrown out to the outside.
I miss Steven Regal actually being in the ring.
Yeah, I mean he's an old man, but we know it's all on tape, guys.
Oh yeah.
There's a reason he is where he is.
You could just teach some of these people today some good shit. I mean, he can still teach them that.
Yeah, I feel like that's
being in there with them would be great.
With NXT, I think a lot of it is just the old guys not saying no, and that's what it is. They're like, oh, okay, well,
try it.
They like just being like, hey, you got to do a little less of this and a little less of that.
Stop slapping your thigh.
Yeah. We need. Oh, it's a shame that Bret Hart didn't got. The screw job happened, and Bret Hart's not where Shawn Michaels is now, because Shawn Michaels was a piece of shit asshole, and Bret Hart got fucked over, and Bret Hart was supposed to have this big long contract that they didn't buy out. And then he went to WCW, nothing, but he would probably still be with the company, most likely, teaching people how to wrestle and telling them to chill with the slaps.
Yep.
Tony Schiavone then sends us to a video package, and we see footage from Clash 26 where Cactus Jack hits the double arm DDT on Brian Knobbs, but the ref is distracted, so Jerry Sags drops an elbow to break it up. Then while the ref is distracted getting Sags out of the ring, Maxx Payne comes in with an elbow drop on Knobbs, letting Jack roll back on top for the pin in a non-title match versus the Nasty Boys, which sets up our 7th match. Cactus Jack and Maxx Payne versus the Nasty Boys of Brian Knobbs and Jerry Sags.
With no Missy.
We
are Hyattless.
For the WCW World Tag Team Championships. Now you might have noticed during the Clash footage, Missy was there. But she's no longer with the company.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, I don't think we watched that Clash, but I was trying to figure out the Missy outfits. But last time we saw the Nasty Boys, Missy was with them for the last at least 2 shows, because the Nasty Boys have kind of started.
She was with them at Starrcade the last time we saw her, and that was when her boob popped out. Even though we couldn't see it. You could see it at ringside, and there was a photographer at ringside who had taken a picture. And if you were to ask Missy why she was no longer with the company, she would say it was because she went over Eric Bischoff's head, who was the president at the time, to complain about a photo of that moment hanging out on the walls at the headquarters of WCW.
They got copies of it and just pasted it around, which is just not cool, man. funny, but keep it to yourselves. If you're definitely don't put it out on the wall.
Let her hang that in her office.
Yeah, it's like it sucks that some guy, exploited it or whatever, but that's bound to happen. But it's really lame for your employer to get the dot matrix printer and make a poster of it.
Just to be fair to both sides, though, Bischoff did claim that she was fired for her behavior and jealousy over a new signing, who we'll soon see. There would be a sexual harassment suit filed and finally resolved a few years later.
It's wrestling. There's never any clear answers.
No.
Though that claim was a real thing. It wasn't.
Yeah. No, I just mean like whether between Missy and Bischoff, like who do you trust?
Yeah, exactly.
The one you can throw farther. I mean, probably weigh about the same.
So Knobs, you might have noticed as he was coming out, he had an acoustic guitar with him. I wonder if that'll come into play.
I mean, yeah. I wonder if he borrowed it from Jerry Jarrett. I wonder if he thinks that rap is crap.
I think it took me a second there. Where are we going with this?
Nowhere, really.
So Payne starts us off with a German suplex on Knobs, which causes Bryan to stumble out to the ramp. Sags comes in only to receive a belly-to-belly suplex as well. I'm like, was Payne the original human suplex machine?
I love that Bobby Heenan allows us. He's like, well, Missy's getting her a gum replacement, like because from the kiss that Cactus Jack gave her, because he smooched her one, and maybe that's why she quit. She had to kiss the mouth of one Mick Foley.
Bryan tags back in and lands a couple forearms, but misses a clothesline, and Maxx takes him over with a Sambo suplex and a power slam on Jerry. Is Maxx Payne my new favorite wrestler?
He's just going ham on these boys, throwing them around like they are Thanksgiving hams. Just like chucking them over his shoulders and stuff. It's wild.
It's just like, where did this Maxx Payne come from?
Yeah, Cassie Jack was like, well, I'm not particularly strong, but this is how you do a suplex. And then Maxx Payne is like a foot taller than him and can lift more.
I fell from,
he's launching these
feet last night. Can you do this move for me instead?
Yeah, he's launching these nasty boys like they weigh like half their size. It's crazy.
Cactus Jack joins in on the fun with forearms and elbow drops on both the nasties, but a Pier 6 breaks out with the boys being sent to the floor. Back in the ring, Jack hits a back elbow and a kick to send Bryan to straddling the apron. So Cactus Jack hits a leg drop to the back of the head. Maxx comes in with a face plant, but then the Nasty Boys hit a clothesline chop block combo to take him down. They continue the attack with headbutts and elbow drops to the gut before a double team wishbone. Knobs goes for a body slam, but Payne is too heavy, allowing Maxx to reverse, which is followed by a leg drop, only for Bryan to move in time. Elbow drop, and Knobs goes for a second rope leg drop, which Payne avoids, and both teams make tags. Knee lift by Jack to Sags, hits a body guillotine, and a clothesline on Bryan that sends them both over the ropes to the floor.
Oh yeah, Cactus Jack has never clotheslined somebody on the ropes and not followed them out. It's just not his style.
No.
He's a perpetual motion machine.
It'd probably look weird if he didn't.
Yeah, I can't picture it in my head at all.
I don't even know if the people would know how to land right if he wasn't
if he wasn't there to break their
rolling
fall.
on top. Yeah.
Cactus Jack goes to come off the apron with an elbow drop, but Jerry saves him with the forearm to the back. Knobs then peels the mat back as Sags runs Jack off the apron right onto the concrete.
Ugh. Back splat. Not a good sound.
As Cactus Jack is getting up, Bryan slams his head into the guardrail and keeps kicking him to keep him from getting back in the ring.
Do you love how he steps and breaks the neck of the guitar and looks down and he's like, oh shit, cracked the neck.
Once Jack returns to the ring, Knobs hits a body slam and the Nasty Boys take turns, putting Cactus Jack into a Boston crab.
And Jack is bleeding from the mouth. It looks pretty gross. I don't know if he lost a tooth or he's missing the teeth, but his mouth is bleeding pretty good.
Payne runs in to drag Jack to the corner, but the ref is distracted and doesn't see the tag. Cactus Jack ducks a double clothesline, hits a double DDT on the boys, and crawls to the corner for the
hot tag.
Maxx with clotheslines on both nasties. Overhead belly to Knobs.
Bryan Knobs looks fucked up from that.
A little bit.
Body slam on Sags. headbutts to both. Payne then locks on the painkiller onto Bryan.
An armbar.
The ref is trying to get Jack out of the ring while Jerry grabs the guitar, nailing Maxx across the head with it multiple times
Ding, ding,
for the
ding.
DQ. Yes, on that suplex, Knobs legitimately dislocated his shoulder.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I watched it back like multiple times because I was like, I couldn't tell if it was an arm thing or a head thing or both, and I was like, he had to have broken his arm, a dislocation. Yeah, it's like something happened really bad. It looked really bad.
Ouch.
And luckily, Maxx realized and put the painkiller on the other arm.
Yeah, good on you, Maxx. You could have really ruined that guy's fucking life.
Nick's teaching you a lot of things there, old Maxie.
I like that Maxx is out here a real suplex machine, yeeting guys across the ring, and then he does the painkiller. It's like we didn't come up with a new finish for the guy. Granted, whatever, you gotta ease that in. But yeah, the Nasties leave a heaping pile of ugly baby faces in the ring with old Cactus Jack looking about as rough as he ever has.
We then go to the locker room, and Mean Gene is there, joined by Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat. He hypes up the hotline again, telling everyone to give him a holler.
Holla holla.
Okerlund then says a lot of people are watching this match, including a man down in Clearwater, Florida.
Oh, big old Hulk tease.
A good friend of Mean Gene's. Of course, he's talking about Hulk Hogan, who's not under contract yet.
Yeah, they're the Terry Bollea
We all know
tease.
it's coming.
Yeah.
We're not going to sugarcoat it. Flair doesn't care if the Orange Goblin is watching, because tonight he has to deal with Vader. And then Steamboat if he wins. Ricky actually basically repeats his promo from earlier.
Yeah.
With the red tape and everything.
Ricky might be like one of my favorite wrestlers that doesn't ever even do like a decent Ricky promo is
Not good.
Is still like the end of week 1 of promo class. Yeah, because Ricky says red tape again, and I'm like, hey, you keep bringing up your wife.
Arn Anderson then comes in to give his old friends some words of encouragement as well.
Yeah, and also talks about the violence of the show. Been that last match, I mean, pretty violent.
Yeah.
We then go to our 8th match. Ravishing Rick Rude, Stunning Steve Austin,
I'm drooling.
and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff
I need a spit cup.
with Colonel Robert Parker versus Sting, the Natural Dustin Rhodes, and Flyin' Brian Pillman in a Thundercage match.
Look at all the meat on this. Like, there is arguably 5 of the most talented guys in wrestling in the United States at this point in time, and Sting. I mean, come on. We all love Sting, and Sting is good, but he is not Dustin Rhodes, Flyin' Brian, Rick Rude, Steve Austin, or Paul Orndorff.
Sorry, Steve.
He's got charisma, but he never even came up with his own yell. He says, like, whoa instead of woo.
We haven't seen Pillman since Beach Blast 93, back in episode 95.
It's a long injury there, buddy.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
What did he?
Maybe he was just waiting for
knee
a
injury?
contract.
Yeah, it was a knee injury of some sort. So the Thunderdome cage lowers to ringside.
It's the Havoc Cage. Pyro, it's lowered.
It's basically the a Hell in a Cell type thing with no roof.
Yeah, but it has like the curved in. So it's not like you can't really crawling out would be difficult because you have to go Spider-Man on it for a second.
And they had to remove part of the ramp so it could encompass the entire ringside. So they walk down the ramp and some of them jump up onto the cage to crawl down the cage to the floor to get to the door.
Kind of a fun visual. A little platformy video game vibe.
So Rude and Sting started off with the Stinger hitting a back body drop and several clotheslines, only for the Ravishing one to roll to the apron to slow the momentum. The heels start working Sting's arm until the Stinger shoves off an Austin armbar, and they start running the ropes, only for Stunning Steve to have a leg injury. Oh no, guys.
Oh, yeah. It's already huge and hot because obviously you have everybody knows and loves these guys. We got our Paula chance. Sting immediately Sting's like, oh no, I won't Rude. So then he mocks Rude to get him in there. Like everyone's salivating here.
But Sting just does not care. He applies the Scorpion Deathlock, but he has to duck a Mr. Wonderful clothesline, which allows Austin to cradle the Stinger up for a 2 count. Stunning Steve drags Sting out to the floor, only to be tossed into the cage by the Stinger. Pillman even joins in the fun with a chop across the chest. Back in the ring, Flying Brian is tossed to the outside, with Stunning Steve following out. But after a few chops, Austin starts running around ringside until Pillman runs right into a hot shot into the cage.
I smell a blade. A blade? You guys smell a blade?
Orndorff comes over and throws Flying Brian into the cage, which busts him open. I don't know what this blading thing.
I smell the metallic scent of iron.
Pillman is rolled back into the ring for Rude to work him over, letting him get close enough to the corner for a tag to tease his partners. Mr. Wonderful then comes in, only to run into a knee in the corner, followed by Flying Brian charging out with the clothesline, but Orndorff blocks and hits a back suplex. The Ravishing One comes in with a flying knee drop for a near fall. Austin with a second rope elbow drop and makes the cover, but Sting makes the save. Stunning Steve goes for his second rope elbow drop again, but Pillman catches him with a drop kick this time, allowing him to crawl to the corner for the
hot tag. What a Pillman and Austin forever.
I'm trying to remember if they actually go into the storyline of why are they on opposing sides? I don't like it.
They broke up before this.
But they didn't actually fight. Pillman left with an injury, so I'm trying to remember if there was actual storyline that went with it of why they didn't just merge back together. Maybe it was one of those stupid things of you didn't call me when I was hurt or something.
I don't know. I feel like that they... Matt, do you remember?
We don't ever see it. I think something plays out on Worldwide.
I feel like it's just like a pretty run of the mill kind of excuse to break them up. Nothing like fancy or as good as it could.
I mean, they probably just did. Pillman was mad at Austin for losing the tag belts while he was injured, but technically that would have probably made Pillman the heel. So I don't know exactly what they did.
They just chose, by and large, to ignore it, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably has to do with old Colonel Robert Parker.
Oh, yeah. Why not?
After the hot tag, Sting's in with right hands, clothesline to Orndorff, clothesline on Rude, another clothesline on Mr. Wonderful to send them all out to the floor. The Stinger sends Orndorff into the cage to bust him open before rolling back in.
Sting is having a blast with all of these cheers.
Dustin comes in with the flip-flop fly on Mr. Wonderful, bionic elbow to Austin, snapmare and elbow drop on Orndorff, before Paul just yanks Rhodes into the corner to daze him. The Ravishing One tags in and goes for a turnbuckle smash, but the Natural blocks and reverses for one of his own, followed by a bulldog attempt, only for Rude to counter, dropping Dustin onto the top turnbuckle.
Boom.
The Ravishing One hits a back superplex, following up with a bear hug. But when Rhodes starts to fire up, Rude just counters with a belly-to-belly suplex. Stunning Steve tries to throw the Natural to the floor, but Dustin avoids, nailing Austin to send him to the apron, followed by a dropkick to send him into the cage, where Steve gets caught up by his leg.
Fucking yes, he just launches his leg through that hole. He could have, if he went at that force and didn't get it through, probably could have been bad. I don't know. It looks really good.
Actually, I think he probably would have been safer if he had just gone head first into the cage.
Yeah.
Doing the leg almost felt like he may have actually hurt himself.
Yeah, I feel like there's a much bigger room for error. The man has every wrestler has taken bumps into cages, steel, turnbuckles. They know how to do that. You can't really plan for putting your leg in between an unforgiving piece of metal.
Steve.
Especially 4 or 5 feet off the ground.
If you could just see a few years into the future how fucked up your knees are
I know.
be.
Mr. Wonderful jumps in the ring to brawl with Rhodes while Austin recovers. But once back in, Rhodes hits a leaping back elbow off of an Irish whip. Pillman's tagged in and he goes nuts on Stunning Steve with chops and a back body drop, delivers a double drop kick to his opponents on the apron.
And it's 1 foot for each. That kind of double drop kick, I love it. A
In the
heel
ring,
for each heel.
everybody jumps in the ring for a Pier 6 brawl until there is just Sting, Flying Brian, and Austin left in the ring. Stunning Steve ducks a double clothesline, only to run into a double back body drop, followed by Sting press slamming Pillman on top of Austin for the pin and the win. Post-match, more brawling on the outside, and the cage doors open, and Rude starts to back his way out. But as the Stinger follows, the Ravishing One slams the door in his face before hitting a rude awakening on the floor.
I mean, did you guys... We expect the best of these 6 men. These are some of our 6 favorite guys. But normally when you see a lineup like that in a WCW show for one match, something always goes awry.
Yeah, I was expecting some sort of a funky finish on it.
This was great. It was so much energy. Everybody got their spot to shine. Like, it was electric from like the minute everybody entered the cage to the minute Rick Rude awakened the Stinger. I love this match and could not believe how right they did it, because they've done it wrong so many times, over and over again.
No outside interference, no stupid hokey finish with somebody
Yeah.
tapping out after 3 seconds of a bear hug.
Nobody looked like shit. Everybody just looked awesome, and everybody did awesome shit to each other.
I mean,
The finish made sense.
technically, Dustin really didn't do a whole lot in the match, but he still got his flip-flop fly and the
and
bulldog attempt on it. So
and he still got his elbow, and he got plenty of a pop. Everybody got the love they deserve.
Yeah.
So good. I mean, Austin, Rude, and Paul Orndorff on one side of the ring is just a dream.
Shivani then sends us to another video package, and we get more footage from Clash 26, where Flair was hit with a superplex from Vader, and he sells it like death.
Oh, yeah. The plane crash. We got to always bring up that plane crash, that back.
And then we see Sting and Rude. I guess it was a tag match with Sting and Flair together versus Rude and Vader, and they're fighting as the Nature Boy is being helped to the back. On WCW Saturday Night a few days later after that, Nick Bockwinkel would make the announcement that Nate is not 100% and will be postponing the world title match. Vader interrupts the press conference, mad that he's not getting his title chance. Now the next week, on another episode of Saturday Night, Steamboat's in a match, when Harley Race would jump in the ring and take a crossbody from the Dragon. Vader would then come in and they work over Ricky with the stiff shots. Flair would then join Tony and Nick Bockwinkel on the phone, saying he wants the match at SuperBrawl IV.
You know how bad he wants it.
His friend was hurt.
He wants it so bad. He'll pay the fines.
You hurt my friend.
I'll pay the fines. I'm coming in. Can't do the boat like that.
And Bockwinkel says that if the Nature Boy can get a doctor's note.
He loves a doctor's note. He's like a manager that is sick of sick of everybody. So he's like, if you're not going to come in, I need a doctor's note. No excuses. I've had enough.
Been there.
yeah. It's just like, yeah.
Oh, you don't want to come to work for an hour and a half? Cool. $50. Go get me a doctor's note.
Another week later, another Saturday Night episode, and Bockwinkel says that Nate has supplied all of the requirements needed for the match to be reinstated, but he has also added a special guest enforcer to the match.
Well,
the boss.
He's a boss, man.
So our 9th match, Vader with Harley Race versus the Nature Boy for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship in a Thundercage match with the Boss as the special guest referee. And when Boss's music hit, did you think Scott Steiner was coming out?
I didn't even recognize the music, to be honest.
I mean, it was just sirens.
Yeah.
But I was just the first couple notes sounded exactly like Steiner's late 90s music.
That's funny.
Vader brings a chair into the cage with him.
You know what Vader walks out with, though? his White Castle of Fear cape. It's like, oh, it's been a while since we saw that thing. He must have found it at the bottom of his suitcase.
I think he had it at the last Super Bowl. Was the last time I remember seeing him wear it.
Yeah.
I think that was the White Castle of Fear, though.
I always
miss
the skull, the
smoking skull.
it's so good. How could you never just use that forever?
Yeah, I mean,
it just adds ambiance.
What could have been?
As if Vader needed to look any more badass.
Look what a smoking urn did for the Undertaker and how long he kept that thing.
Michael Buffer, as our ring announcer, says those magic words, and we are ready to start the match.
What's up with this hottie cam? It's like that was they just have a couple of honeys standing around the ring every once in a while, and then they just get the camera on them.
It was a ring girl.
Yeah, I guess there's ring girls. They just don't really show them except for standing there, and you're like, oh, these are two really pretty girls that are not part of the crowd.
For the, how the shows now have everything happening on the Titantron during the commercial breaks and whatnot.
In between, they got the T-shirt gun.
Yeah. Back then, you had just the hottie girls walking around there with a little sign saying, Ric Flair up next, or match 6, or I guess this is 9. Never mind.
It's technically 8. Because the first match didn't really happen until it was the 5th match.
True.
So the boss goes to lock the door with Harley yelling that he doesn't need to do that. But they finally get it shut, and the boss puts the key on a chain around his neck.
Ooh.
Vader charges in at Flair, only for the Nature Boy to avoid, allowing him to lay it in on Vader with right hands, eye rakes, and a back elbow to send the big man over to the floor.
If I was going against Vader, eye rakes all day. Gotta gouge those out. Anything that can help me miss his stiff shots. Those Vader shoot forearms.
Nate follows out and hits Vader with multiple chair shots across the head. And back in the ring, Rick Irish whips Vader where he does a Flair flip out onto the apron, but nails the Nature Boy when he charges in, followed by a body slam and a Vader bomb.
I love when Flair gets caught on his little flip.
Short arm clothesline, and Vader heads up top, coming off with a Vader salt.
You mean a Vade maker?
But he lands on his feet when Flair moves, so he hits an avalanche splash before tossing Nate to the floor. Race is there, and he begins to choke Flair, while Vader and the boss have words in the ring. Vader's out to the floor, delivering stiff shots and a knee to the forehead, before Harley hits a left hand to help out again. Back in the ring, more stiff shots from Vader, but the Nature Boy fights back, even resorting to chokes and biting the big man. Vader then comes off the top rope with an avalanche splash, but Nate moves, sending the big man into Harley.
Take that, Mr. Race.
The boss comes out to
finally do something about Harley Race. He's like, hey, he kept letting Harley Race get shit in. It's like, boss man, you're here for a reason, sir.
So the boss tries to handcuff Race to stop his interfering. But Vader just nails him from behind, grabs the handcuffs away, and handcuffs Boss to the cage instead.
Whew.
Race gets the key, and a 2-on-1 results. After Harley makes it into the cage, he locks it back. And Arn Anderson and Steamboat hit the ringside, but they can't get into the cage.
No, they're trying to free the boss man to at least give Rick a helping hand.
Just ignore that boss man. He sucks.
The Nature Boy grabs the chair inside the ring and begins to use it on both Race and Vader. And then back in the ring, Nate is concentrating on Harley, which allows Vader to clothesline him from behind. All of a sudden, the boss is able to break free from the handcuffs, running back into the ring to attack Vader, delivering shots with his nightstick. Flair tosses Harley from the ring and locks on the figure 4, and the boss immediately calls for the bell. Post-match, the boss nails Race with the nightstick, followed by the lock being cut off by Doug Dillinger. And Vader heads towards Tony and Bobby to start yelling at them.
Watch out there, Tony.
Yeah, he gets it on and then calls it. It's like, and they're like, oh, I didn't hear him give up. It's like, because he didn't.
The boss is just mad that they locked him up.
Yeah.
So I'm screwing you over, Vader.
Yeah.
Shivani and the Brain recap the match before saying their goodbyes.
But Vader's freaking out on Bobby and Tony, and Bobby sells the fear of Vader, and it's Oscar worthy. I really like that a lot. He's just like shaken as they say their goodbyes.
And we get credits. So I ask you, gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts of SuperBrawl IV?
For me, the first half of it, I didn't really care for, and I could easily have not watched it and been okay about it because there wasn't really anything to remember from it. I mean,
first half of this show is basically an extended episode of Worldwide.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, but a good episode.
You have a team of Thunder and Lightning that nobody's ever heard of. You've got the Equalizer versus Jungle Jim that doesn't need to be on a pay-per-view.
We're trying to Jim it up. We're trying to get Jim over. Jim in, Equalizer out.
I mean, if you watch the first half and it was on a Worldwide, it would be an entertaining.
Oh yeah, if it was on regular TV, I'd totally expect it, but
it's definitely not pay-per-view quality.
No,
we can all agree with that.
Nothing with the word "super" in the front of it. Those first few matches, like the DDP match, way longer than it needed to be.
It was good though.
It was. I'm not saying it was bad. It was just too long. Even the Jimmy Garvin, Johnny B. Bad. I like what they did with the story, but it just seemed like it felt too long. And then you jumped into the Arn versus Regal, which I loved, and it was longer than normal TV title matches, but I was okay with that.
Yeah.
It's just the first half was too long and unnecessary, and then the end was just wild, crazy, holy shit, bang, bang, boom.
It was spectacle-y. I think it was a good show. The production with WCW, this was like a noticeable, just felt like a better and cleaner production. A bit too much of Harley Race. They went to that well like one too many times. In the last match, I feel like if they did the 2 instead of 3 before Bossman did anything about it, then that would be. Well, then the match would be basically perfect for what it was, because it's just like you understand why Bossman called it. It's not we want a clean match, but I get it. I see what you did. You set it up. But yeah, I mean, I like this show a lot. Even the bad matches, or like the matches that, like you said, not the kind of nothing that's going to entice me if I were to look at this card and was thinking about buying tickets. But they weren't abysmal.
No, not abysmal. Just a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
The second half of the show, starting with Arn and Regal to the main event,
it's fire.
They're all fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Tons of storytelling and setups for future feuds.
And clean storytelling, which is another thing. It's like, I feel like the show is timed well, production-wise, and everything.
Well, there's a certain change of booker.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Who is it? Because it's obvious that it's a whole new thing.
That's no longer Dusty.
Yeah. I mean, it's just obvious that it's... didn't even realize that it was...
Let's just say
Dusty.
they're all Flair finishes.
Yeah, well, it fucking shows. It's all crispy. Like, everything makes sense, and you understand everything that happened and why. Yeah, whether you like it or not, it makes sense.
Dusty-ish finish is the main event, and it totally makes sense.
Yeah, he's like,
and
Bossman's
okay
pissed.
With it because the matches before didn't have that shit in it to where...
Exactly.
Yeah, it was like they didn't...
It's like, again, really? God.
Yeah, they didn't go to the well. It's not like everybody booked their own match. It was a wrestling show, and it feels like WCW. You'll get like a wrestling show, and then like a what are we doing here, and then maybe like, okay, well that was all right, and then what are we doing here, and then a wrestling show, and this was fucking wrestling show. Like, you got your money worth if you got this pay-per-view or you paid to go to the arena. I feel like that you got your buck worth.
The first hour, I think it's about, I don't know exactly when the Arn match starts. I would say it's probably around like the hour and 15-minute mark.
You think so?
The show's 2 hours and 40 minutes or so long. Literally started about that point and watched the rest of it.
Yep.
Yeah, I will give
back it up to the Jimmy Garvin one just so you can see the first ever televised stunner.
I'll give a thumbs up to Harlem Heat looking more cohesive as a team, and I'll give a thumbs up to the
I'm just
idea
saying,
of that. But as far as like
necessary watches.
Yeah, for sure.
The last 4 matches are.
They're definitely they are canonical.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? All right. Fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up. So, what are some of the best moments of the show?
All of match 7.
Is that match 7 or match 8?
Well,
Arm
technically,
Your match 7 or my match 7?
I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at the card on the internet, and it's called it 7. But the 6-man Thundercage, like I love the Ric Flair Vader match as well. But there's something just so electric, and they don't waste any time. It's 14 minutes of go, like, and you see all the guys you like. I don't trust anybody that's like, oh, I think that Paul Orndorff's overrated. Like, no, I would argue that he's maybe underrated.
I mean, I think at this point he's underrated.
Yeah, for sure.
Of who?
Orndorff.
Orndorff, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean...
He's just kind of seen as the old guy.
He's been around for, forever at this point, and he's been killing it for the last, 5 pay-per-views. Every time he shows up, we're like, God damn, Paul Orndorff looks good and he's got it all. He's got the facials, he's just healing it up in, what you want out of a heel. He's great. And I love him.
Best moments for me, I gotta throw Bobby up there. The return of Bobby Heenan to the
yes,
the commentary.
Absolutely.
It's been
the Tony
very missed.
Tony Heenan combo really hitting better than I thought, and I can only imagine that it'll get better.
It's like 2 old pros that didn't know they belonged together.
And I love when Tony's good. It's like, oh, this is good Tony.
Yeah. When Tony cares, you can actually tell. When
Yeah,
he doesn't,
he's having a fun time. He's next to
just
Bobby the
kinda
Brain
sits
Heenan.
there and,
If he's not having a good time, that's crazy.
There is no
And he was
looking
also
over his
working
shoulder
with
playing to
Jesse,
the
which was
camera.
also great. So it's just, I feel like we're WCW is firing on some cylinders, starting to. I feel like it's revving up, and I'm scared of the Orange Goblin, the skirted eggshell, the
choo-choo is going full speed ahead, and someone may pull the emergency button here soon. Max Payne for me.
Max Payne's fucking Yeet City launching guys to Kingdom Come.
Launching the
Yeah,
Nasty Boys.
I mean, he
all over
almost
the place.
ruined. It was Brian Knobbs. Yeah, almost ruined Brian Knobbs' fucking career. Almost broke his neck. Luckily, it was only his shoulder, which is still awful.
And he never won another tag team championship again. I don't know if that's true.
Seriously though, it's like Max Payne went to suplex class.
Yes.
And got a fucking a solid A.
How about most disappointing?
Jumping Jim Steele, Jungle Jim Steele, and just being a thing, and Equalizer still being a thing is my most disappointing.
Yeah, Jungle Jim.
Jungle Jim's still a step up from Chucky Norris. Thunder and Lightning at least got.
I think for me, just
was
most
good for
disappointing is
Harlem.
there's too many matches that just didn't need to be on the show.
Well, I mean, I think that a lot of that is because of our 6-man. Because those are the guys that would be filling that space. But instead we got the 6-man. And I think the 6-man may have been worth it because it was kind of a blast.
Yeah.
It didn't really, yeah.
Hayes and Johnny would probably have been good. But, they let Hayes' contract run out. Yeah, aside from Harlem Heat looking good, I can't find anything positive to say about the Thunder and Lightning match.
Yeah.
I have no complaints about this show.
I don't either. I think that the Jumpin' Jim, but it's like when I was watching Jumpin' Jim, I was like, at least it's not Charlie Norris. Is all I could think. I was like, okay, I'm not that mad, and it was short.
Exactly. I was...
And it wasn't poorly worked, and it wasn't stupid.
I get the matches at the beginning should have never been on a pay-per-view.
But I know why, because I watched match 7.
But I was entertained.
That's how I felt
enjoyed
about it. Yeah.
So I couldn't complain about it.
Yeah.
I never sit down and do notes in one run, just straight through.
Yeah.
I did it on this show.
Yeah, this was a show I watched straight through. Depends on time kind of thing. Sometimes I'll do 1.5 shows. Sometimes I'll do half a show. Depends on how my week's going. But some shows I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna go to sleep an hour later because I'm gonna finish this.
How about best performer of the night? Mine's Max Payne, guys. I'm just...
That's nice of you.
He's in my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time.
Oh
now.
my gosh, that's so crazy.
I'm just kidding. Not really.
I know. I mean,
but he's at least on my top 10 of this show.
Understandable. So it goes like Vader, Flair, the 6-man,
Max
Payne. Yeah.
You skipped over Tommy Dreamer. Or Taz. Or...
Wait. Oh, it's his favorite. He said his favorite to this show.
Oh, this show.
Yeah.
My bad.
It's hard. There's a lot of great performances, but like Ric Flair and Vader tore it down.
Brian showing back up for the first time.
When Flying Brian wipes the blood off his face and like fires up, whew, got chills.
Yeah.
Stunning Steve's leg going through, like the 6-man guy, like the 6-man match. All those guys like are like on the same level. They were all firing on the like they were all locked in lockstep with that whole match. They didn't have to have a shock master on their team or whatever.
Or a road warrior.
How about most surprising? I mean, come on, guys. You know it's Max Payne.
I mean, yeah. I guess it was.
You were not expecting that out of Max Payne.
I really wasn't. I was expecting like clotheslines and painkiller attempts.
Cactus Jack to take all 3 million bumps.
He took a back splat, but I mean, the Nasties get the bump award for having to take all the crap from Payne.
Yeah. The Diamond Doll wasn't Kimberly.
Oh, yeah.
I was kind of disappointed.
I'm okay with it. Kimberly was hotter, so.
Yeah, Kimberly is hotter. She's much hotter.
No disrespect to our slick back Diamond Doll straight out of the Robert Palmer video.
Yeah.
Making their way to the ring.
It's trivia time.
Oh my god. Can I get another 5 points?
It's possible.
Bunkhouse Stampede.
That was last
No,
week.
I know.
This week, the category is The Champ is Here.
The champ is here! The champ is here!
So I will give you a show and a championship. You have to tell me who the champion was at the end of that show.
Easy.
And I want to reiterate that sometimes the championship was not defended on that show.
Okay.
Okay.
So 5 points
That might
for
be a hint.
5 points
Foreshadowing.
for a correct answer. 3 points if we go to multiple choice. At the end of main event 2, who was the WWF Tag Team Champions?
Main event 2.
Oh my gosh. It was so long ago. It was right after main event 1.
I gotta think when the hell main event 2 happened.
I know. I'm trying to think of the year. Is it 89? Is that the year? You probably don't want to help me. I'm gonna go wild and let Shane get some points. And assume that it's 89 and say the Brainbusters.
The Brainbusters is incorrect.
I figured it was. They did have the championship for they had like 6 months in WWF. Brainbusters World Tour.
Does Shane take a stab in the dark, or does he go to multiple choice?
I mean, either way, he's got me on the ropes. And I don't know that I'll ever allow it to be a clean break.
That's what I'm trying to remember.
Also, I don't know if I have a choice. He's so far ahead.
Main event 1. Was that when the Mega Powers exploded? Or was that... Oh, this is tough. Fuck it, just go to multiple choice.
Your options on multiple choice are the Brainbusters, Colossal Connection, Demolition, or Strike Force.
Oh, one of those was going to be my answer before I said the Busters. But I won't say which one it was, because it's probably wrong. And why would I want to give Shane the wrong answer?
So we have the Brainbusters,
Not the
Strike
Brainbusters.
Force,
Say the Brainbusters.
Demolition, and Colossal Connection.
2 of those teams lasted probably about the same amount of time. I guess 3 of them.
Screw it, we're going Demolition.
Demolition is correct.
Oh! I'm the X. Something a smash.
What year was that? I can't remember what year.
It was 89.
It was 89? Okay.
Walking disasters.
So our scores are now what?
So our scores as of now are Shane, 53.
Ooh.
Temple, 36.
Ooh. Little 17.
I was hoping that
between
maybe
there.
I was at 40 or something, but I'm not.
Not quite.
But you're not 21 behind or whatever it was like you were before. Now you're only 17.
Yeah. Inching. I'm an incher.
That's what she said. Next week, WrestleMania 10. Headed to Madison Square Garden in New York City.
New York City.
Get a rope.
Yeah, I'm excited for. I mean, this 10th one, they're gonna go all out, right?
I sure hope so.
I mean, you're gonna have to wait with bated breath next week when you get to hear it, guys. Is WrestleMania 10 good? We'll tell you.
Spoiler alert.
We'll let you know how we feel about it.
Spoiler alert, you're going to blank yourself.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Music from this week's show is Rocket by Tom Blades, and Ric Flair won our main event. So we play Spot Zarathustra by Strauss. If you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there and rate and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you find your podcasts at. You can always email us any questions, comments, concerns, or recipes.
We're going to New York. New York is tough because there's lots of stuff in New York. So
Also, like a PDF of Philadelphia ideas, always good to know.
Yeah, please.
And you can do that at WrestlingHistoryX@gmail.com, or you can always find us on Twitter at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTOX. We'll talk to you next week.
Laters.